The hull of Accord gleamed like the inside of a diamond, light refracting across its vast dome. Holographic banners shimmered with the emblems of 100 civilizations. At the center of the chamber, a single figure stood still while the galaxy judged her in silence. Ambassador Elena Reyes adjusted her wrist tablet, its blue glow reflecting against the glass floor. Around her, tiers of alien delegates murmured, dozens of voices layered in pitch, scent, and vibration. She caught fragments through her translator. Human dramatics again, small minds imagining large dangers. She didn't flinch. She had heard worse. A booming voice cut through the hum. The Council recognizes Ambassador Reyes of Earth, declared High Chancellor Vorental, his silver carapace gleaming beneath the chamber lights. His tone carried practiced disdain, each syllable clipped like a verdict. Proceed with your concerns. Elena's projection expanded. A three-dimensional star map floated above her palm, showing the Fornax Theta binary system, two suns locked in a slow spiral, surrounded by a ring of energy distortion. Counselors, she began, voice steady. Our deep space probes detected a dark energy fluctuation near Fornax Theta. It's growing exponentially. My scientific division believes it's not natural. It exhibits containment signatures, engineered precision. A ripple of laughter spread among the upper tiers. The Kalari Envoy's crystalline appendages clinked together like chimes. Engineered by whom? Ghosts? Elena rotated the projection, magnifying the readings. We found traces of baryonic residue. Structuring patterns match an artificial containment field, human-made, but ancient. Something from before we joined the Council. The laughter died. Even Vorental's expression flickered, then hardened. Are you suggesting that Earth has left uncontrolled weapons within Council space? Not weapons, she said evenly. Tests. From a century ago, abandoned after the Soul Wars. We sealed the sites. We warned the registry decades before admission to the Council. But your expansion fleets ignored the markings. A low murmur coursed through the chamber. Delegates exchanged glances. Elena continued, the anomaly will collapse. When it does, anything within 10 light minutes will vaporize. That includes your first expeditionary fleet stationed at Fornax Theta. Vorental leaned forward, voice dripping scorn. You claim this based on human instruments, devices infamous for error and paranoia. The Council has monitored that region for cycles. It is stable. Elena's tone remained calm. With respect, Chancellor, your monitoring satellites use Lauren-grade arrays. They can't even detect subdimensional shear. Our data is verified by 6 independent observatories. If you send ships any closer, you risk annihilation. An insectoid representative hissed. You expect us to evacuate a sector because humans feel anxious? Her jaw tightened. Because humans observe, not assume. The Chancellor's claws tapped against his desk, a hollow metallic rhythm. We cannot bow to every human prediction. Your species sees disaster in shadows. Elena took a breath. The Vega collapse? She said softly. Do you recall? The sane warnings were dismissed. You lost 12 colonies. A tense silence followed. Even the translator drones hovered motionless. Vorental's eyes narrowed. You tread close to insolence. Truth often sounds that way, she replied. A brief static flickered across her projection, a side effect of emotion spiking her neural implant. She steadied it, straightening. My proposal is simple. Withdraw your fleet, issue a quarantine, allow human engineers to stabilize the zone. This is not political. It's physical law. The Council's voting board illuminated, rows of colored lights. Red for dissent, blue for approval. Within seconds, the dome glowed crimson. 94 species voted against the motion. 1 abstained. Vorental rose, spreading his forearms wide. The Council rejects your recommendation. The fleet will proceed as planned. Perhaps they'll find nothing but a faint echo of your fear. Elena gathered her tablet. Then history will write you the same way it wrote Vega. As she stepped from the platform, a familiar voice followed, Lieutenant Marcuschen, her aide, waiting near the corridor's arch. They didn't even listen to the data, he said quietly. It was like arguing with stone. They listened, she corrected. They just chose pride over physics. He fell into step beside her, boots echoing across the transparent walkway overlooking the city. Below, the capital of Tataris Prime glowed beneath its eternal aurora, gleaming towers and flying transports weaving through shimmering airways. Fleet departs tomorrow, Marcus said. Do we warn command? Elena stopped before the panoramic glass. Stars sprawled across the void. She could see Fornax Theta's twin suns as tiny specks on the horizon. Send everything, she said. Logs, recordings, sensor proofs. Mark it for high clearance. If they die, the record must show why. Marcus hesitated. You think the anomaly will activate that fast? It's accelerating. Their drive emissions will feed it. They'll light the fuse themselves. He exhaled through his teeth. Council arrogance never changes. Elena's gaze softened. It's not arrogance alone. It's fear of losing control. They've ruled this galaxy for 1,000 years. Admitting a human might know something they don't, it terrifies them. Her wrist communicator blinked. A secure channel. She accepted. The holographic face of Admiral Jonathan Hale appeared, sharp-eyed and unshaken. Ambassador, Hale greeted. Your report reached Fleet Command. Authorization granted for silent observation. We've dispatched Recon Group Theta 12 to Fornax perimeter under stealth. Thank you, Admiral. Keep them beyond 10 light minutes. Do not engage. Understood. For what it's worth, Reyes, I've seen your data. You're right. They won't believe it until they vanish. Her tone darkened. Then they'll make martyrs of themselves. The Admiral nodded once. We'll document every moment. If this goes bad, the galaxy will know who ignored the warning. The channel closed. For a long moment, Elena stood silent, watching the sky. Her reflection shimmered faintly against the glass, composed, but hollow-eyed. The hum of the city below faded beneath the weight of thought. Marcus broke the quiet. You've done all you can. She didn't answer immediately. Then, quietly, doing all I can doesn't change what comes next. She turned from the window, entering her private quarters. The room was small compared to the grand alien architecture, a symbol of Earth's modest place here. She activated her personal log recorder. Diplomatic log, entry 794, she said. The Council has rejected Earth's request for immediate withdrawal from Fornax Theta. Vote 94-1. Reasoning, political image preservation. Personal assessment, total failure. Estimated time to event, less than 40 hours. She paused, her eyes drifting to the holographic image of Earth rotating above her desk, blue, calm, distant. If this is another Vega, it won't just be tragedy, she murmured. It'll be a revelation. They'll learn, even if it costs lives to do it. She ended the recording. Outside, the auroras shimmered brighter, signs of heightened magnetic interference. The atmosphere itself seemed to tremble. Somewhere deep inside her, instinct whispered that the countdown had already begun. She exhaled, long and measured, then spoke to the empty room. Let them test their faith in arrogance. Physics doesn't take votes. The lights dimmed automatically at night's cycle. Her reflection disappeared in the dark glass, leaving only the stars beyond, cold, beautiful, indifferent. Tomorrow, 500 ships would fly into the unknown. And she already knew what they'd find. The stars over Fornax Theta shimmered like quiet witnesses. 500 warships drifted in formation, their hulls gleaming silver under the twin suns. It was the largest peacekeeping force the Galactic Council had assembled in a century. Every vessel carried banners of authority, arrogance, and certainty. On the bridge of the flagship CS Empyrean, Admiral Theron Voss stood tall, his scaled hands clasped behind his back. The alien commander watched the anomaly through the forward viewport, a glowing ring of violet light, suspended in black space. It pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat from another universe. Sensor Chief, Theron Voss barked. Report your findings. I expect facts, not human ghost tales. The technician's mandibles clicked nervously. Readings are unstable, sir. Energy density climbing. Gravity vectors fluctuating faster than projections. Theron Voss gave a dismissive hiss. The humans love exaggeration. Their diplomats panic whenever a comet sneezes. Laughter rippled through the bridge crew. Yet far from their confidence, at the edge of the system, a stealth human observation vessel hung motionless, invisible to scanners. Inside, Captain Elias Grant leaned over his sensor console. The anomaly filled half the display, shimmering like a wound in reality. He opened a tight beam channel. Observation log, Entry 1. Council fleet has entered the exclusion zone, ignoring all quarantine warnings. Field instability increasing by 0.3% per minute. He exhaled slowly. They have no idea. On Tantarus Prime, the hull of Accord was packed again. Delegates from every major species watched the live feed projected above the dais. Even the Chancellor's arrogance seemed restrained now. He sat forward, 4 eyes locked on the image of the fleet. Ambassador Elena Reyes stood to one side of the chamber, expression unreadable. Her aide Marcus whispered, "They're transmitting everything publicly. Every citizen in council space is watching. They'll learn," she said quietly. Vorental's voice cut across the silence. "Begin the survey operations." On the screen, the fleet advanced. 1 destroyer deployed sensor drones. They vanished into the glowing mist. The light wavered, spreading outward in delicate ripples. "Spectral shift detected," said one of the council analysts. "Localized time distortion, increasing exponentially." Another delegate laughed nervously. "A sensor malfunction, surely." Elena didn't turn her head. "It's starting." Aboard the Empyrean, the deck began to tremble. Instruments flickered, lights dimmed. The anomaly flared white for an instant, then folded inward like collapsing fabric. "Admiral, spatial compression detected!" the sensor chief shouted. "Maintain course," Theron Voss ordered. "We are not." The viewport darkened. The nearest cruiser vanished silently, one moment there, the next reduced to a swirl of photons. A ripple of energy expanded from the center, slamming into the fleet like an invisible tidal wave. "All ships, retreat pattern Delta." Too late. Space convulsed. Within seconds, the entire forward line fragmented. Ship hulls twisted, torn apart by invisible forces. Crew screams echoed through open comms before cutting to static. One by one, icons on the tactical map winked out. "Admiral!" the comm officer cried. "We're losing them, hundreds." The feed broke. In the council chamber, the projection shuddered, dissolving into chaos. Alarms, distorted visuals, fragmented telemetry. 1,000 delegates rose to their feet in confusion. Vorental slammed his claws on the podium. "Re-establish signal! Get the fleet back online!" Technicians worked frantically. Nothing. The display stabilized for half a second, long enough for everyone to see the flagship disintegrate into blinding light. Then the feed went black. The silence that followed was suffocating. Elena Reyes spoke first, her voice calm but cold. 500 ships. Gone. Vorental turned toward her, face pale under his chiton. "You knew." "I warned you," she replied. "This is human sabotage," he snapped, tone sharp enough to hide panic. "You created this anomaly to threaten us." Elena didn't blink. "If it were ours, you wouldn't be here to accuse me." The chamber erupted in shouts, accusations, fear, denial. Species that once ignored humanity now turned frantic eyes toward her. A council guard hurried to the Chancellor's side, whispering something. He stiffened. "Put it through." The central display lit again, not with wreckage, but with the insignia of Earth Fleet Command. The chamber fell silent. A man appeared, Admiral Jonathan Hale, face sharp, voice composed. "To the Galactic Council," he began. "This message is transmitted under Article 7 of the Interstellar Defense Charter. Your fleet entered a classified human containment zone." Vorental's mandibles twitched. You dare accuse the Council of trespass? Hale didn't react. Decades ago, Earth decommissioned multiple weapon test regions across frontier sectors. Fornax Theta was one of them. Containment protocols were issued to your registry upon our admission to the Council. They were ignored. Elena watched the Chancellor's face darken. Hale continued, tone precise. The site's defense AI activated automatically when foreign energy signatures entered proximity. It's not an attack. It's old programming responding to intrusion. You mean, said a trembling delegate, you left a weapon that could erase half a fleet? Hale's eyes were hard. We left warnings. Your arrogance erased the rest. The channel ended without farewell. Panic surged through the chamber. Voices overlapped. Cover up! Impossible! They're lying! How can humans hold technology like that? Elena turned to Marcus. Transmit the recorded evidence from our observatories to public channels. They'll see the truth before the politicians bury it. He nodded, hands flying across his tablet. Vorental approached her, eyes blazing. You think this gains you favor? The galaxy will never forgive humanity for this massacre. She met his glare. We didn't kill them. Their disbelief did. He struck the table with a clawed fist. Your world hoards weapons of annihilation while preaching cooperation. Those weapons, she said evenly, were buried before the Council even existed. You built your empire on old graves without checking who dug them. Around them, the panic shifted to fear. The younger delegates whispered among themselves, not anger, but awe. Humans had hidden power far beyond the Council's comprehension. Elena saw it in their eyes, the quiet recalculation of hierarchy. Hours later, Taharis Prime's skies dimmed. Communications across the sector jammed under the residual pulse from Fornax Theta. Half the star charts needed recalibration. Gravitational distortions rippled through neighboring systems. Inside the now silent council chamber, Elena stood alone beside the massive viewing window. Marcus approached quietly. Command confirmed total loss. No survivors. Every ship atomized or displaced beyond tracking range. She folded her arms. They'll look for someone to blame. They already have. I expected as much. She turned slightly. Still, truth travels faster than fear. By morning, every world will know what really happened. Marcus hesitated. And when they do? Elena's gaze hardened. Then the Council will finally understand Earth's patience has limits. The hum of distant machinery filled the silence. Outside, the planet's upper atmosphere flickered with soft magnetic fire, echoes of the anomaly's wave front touching the system. The stars seemed quieter now, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. A faint transmission tone chimed from her wrist communicator, an encrypted channel. She accepted. Admiral Hale's voice came through. Observation confirmed. Total fleet destruction recorded. Earth Command awaits your political directive. Maintain silence, she said. Let them reach their own conclusion. The truth is heavier when it falls on pride. Understood, he replied. Command stands by. The line closed. Elena exhaled and looked toward the stars once more. They thought they ruled the galaxy, she murmured. Now they know how small it truly is. Far away, where Fornax Theta once burned bright, there was only a wound in the dark, a memory etched into space itself. The council chamber, once a monument to order and power, now felt hollow. The floor's crystalline panels reflected the pale light of morning holograms, a silent tribute to the 500 ships erased in seconds. The seats once buzzing with arrogance were half empty. Dozens of delegations hadn't returned since the disaster. Ambassador Elena Reyes walked through the corridor leading to the central dais, her reflection stretching across the mirrored walls. Every step echoed. Every gaze followed. The same voices that had laughed at her warnings now fell silent as she passed. The hall doors opened automatically at her approach. Inside, High Chancellor Vorental sat slouched behind his elevated podium. His once regal bearing was replaced with a rigid stillness, his skin dull under the chamber's pale lights. Ambassador Reyes? he said, his tone lacking its usual venom. The Council has summoned you to explain Earth's intentions following the incident. Elena stopped before the dais. Intentions? Her voice carried clearly across the silent hall. Earth warned you. You ignored it. The anomaly destroyed your fleet. Our intentions remain unchanged: containment and prevention. Murmurs rippled across the chamber. A Loranian senator, trembling, stood. You expect us to trust you now? You possess weapons that can unmake star systems. Elena faced him. No. We possess understanding. There's a difference. Another delegate hissed. You allowed this to happen. You could have stopped it. She didn't raise her voice. I couldn't stop what you refused to believe existed. The Chancellor's mandibles clicked faintly. Then help us understand what destroyed them. Elena lifted a hand, activating her wrist tablet. A holographic projection of Fornax Theta's aftermath appeared, 2 suns dimming behind a shimmering void, the surrounding sector folding under gravitational turbulence. The anomaly was a dormant containment field built during Earth's final war. It wasn't meant to destroy, it was designed to suppress dark energy. But your fleet's entry destabilized it. The reaction tore the system apart. The chamber's air vibrated with unease. Vorental leaned forward. And how many more of these containment fields has Earth scattered across our galaxy? 6, she replied. All inactive. All quarantined. All ignored in your star mapping expansions. Gasps filled the room. The Chancellor's claws tightened on the railing. So you admit humanity endangers us all? Elena's tone stayed level. Humanity warned you. You endangered yourselves. The moment lingered like a drawn blade. Finally, she spoke again, softer but colder. Earth's Science Directorate has prepared a containment plan. We can stabilize the affected zones. But it requires human oversight, direct command under Earth fleet authorization. The Council erupted in argument. Delegates shouted in disbelief, others in desperation. Vorental slammed his fist down. You seek control over Council space. This is a power grab wrapped in sympathy. Elena didn't flinch. Control? No. Responsibility. You lost the right to call yourselves stewards when you ignored survival itself. Her words struck harder than any weapon. Silence fell again. A younger delegate, a thin, reptilian diplomat from the Osari Compact, spoke timidly. If they can restore order, perhaps we should listen. The Chancellor's glare silenced him, but doubt flickered across several faces. Elena deactivated the projection and stepped closer to the dais. You think this is about power? It's not. It's about consequence. The universe doesn't care who commands fleets or sits on thrones. It responds to reality. You mistook arrogance for stability, and it cost you half your armada. Her voice lowered to a tone that commanded the room. Earth's engineers will begin resealing the Fornax Theta zone immediately. Any interference will be treated as an act of aggression. We will not lose more lives to politics. Vorental rose slowly, his shadow stretching across the dais. You speak as if you rule this council. Elena met his stare. No. I speak as someone who still understands survival. A long pause followed. Then, one by one, council representatives activated their holographic panels. Blue lights of approval flared across the chamber. The vote passed, overwhelmingly. Vorental sank back into his seat. The vote display reflected off his glassy eyes. His empire, his authority, everything he built through centuries of dominance, now bent under the weight of the truth he refused to see. He looked at her with quiet fury. Tell me, Ambassador. If you knew this outcome, why didn't you warn us more forcefully? Elena's gaze softened just enough to show pity. I did. You mistook warning for weakness. Hours later, in a high-security chamber overlooking the Tatharis skyline, Elena stood before a panoramic view of the city. Marcus Chen entered silently, carrying a datapad. The vote results are confirmed, he said. Earth now leads the containment operations for all 6 sectors. The Chancellor didn't contest. He can't, she replied. There's nothing left to contest. He hesitated. The smaller species are contacting our embassy. They want protection, alliances, trade guarantees. They think the council will collapse. It might, she said. But something better can rise in its place. A council that listens, not dictates. Marcus frowned. And if they turn against us? She looked out the window. Then we remind them that we never needed conquest to command respect. Her communicator chimed. Admiral Jonathan Hale's face appeared again. Containment teams are in position. Preliminary scans show the residual energy dissipating. Fornax data is stable, for now. Good work, Admiral, she said. He studied her for a moment. You've changed the order of things, Ambassador. The galaxy won't forget this. Let them remember, she replied. It's time someone learned humility. Command will begin deployment to the remaining sectors within the hour. Earth Fleet's carrier Resolute Dawn will serve as the new coordination hub. Send the fleet in quiet, she instructed. No fanfare. No threats. Just presence. Hale nodded. Understood. Earth Fleet out. The transmission faded. Marcus lingered by the door. Do you think they'll ever forgive us? Elena smiled faintly. Forgiveness isn't what they need. They need memory. Fear fades. Memory reshapes. Later, she walked alone through the night terrace of the human embassy. The alien city spread before her like a tapestry of light and regret. Shuttles traced silent arcs through the mist. Above, the moons of Tatharis drifted in solemn orbit, reflecting the glow of the stars. She recorded one final message to Earth Command. Diplomatic log, entry 800. Operation Silence has concluded. The Council acknowledges Earth's leadership in containment efforts. Our position in galactic affairs is no longer secondary. It's earned. Not by force, but by consequence. Recommendation: maintain measured control, guide without domination. The galaxy watches. She paused, then added quietly. For centuries they saw us as children. Now they see the truth. They feared our power, when they should have respected our restraint. The recorder clicked off. The wind from the upper atmosphere swept across the terrace, cool and silent. Far above, a shadow emerged among the stars. Earth Fleet's Resolute Dawn, descending through the haze like a silver titan. Its massive silhouette dwarfed the alien spires, engines glowing with the quiet authority of a civilization no longer ignored. The ship took its place in orbit, mirrored by dozens of smaller escorts. The night sky glowed faintly blue with their thruster trails, forming the faint shape of Earth's insignia against the darkness. Elena watched, hands folded behind her back. No pride, no triumph, just inevitability. Humanity had spoken once through words, then through consequence. Now, it needed only presence. Behind her, Marcus approached once more. They're saying the Council is calling this the Fornax Silence, he said. A fitting name, she murmured. Silence taught them more than we ever could. As dawn broke over Tatharis Prime, sunlight spilled through the clouds, catching on the human fleet above. It shimmered like a new dawn after centuries of shadow. Elena turned away from the view, her expression calm. They ignored us once, she said quietly. The stars won't let them forget again.